I'm Tamara.
Standing at the industry summit, I just finished presenting the final version of the attribution framework, now adopted by over 60% of certified manufacturers. As the audience applauded, I spotted a familiar face in the back row. Leo, my ex-boyfriend, now working for a competing certification body. It all started years ago when I joined Metro Manufacturing Solutions. I grew up in a small town. My parents were hard, working blue-collar workers. My father was a mechanic, and he always encouraged me to take things apart and understand how they worked. My mother, a schoolteacher, instilled in me the value of education and hard work. From a young age, I was fascinated by technology. By 13, I could repair the family's old washing machine, and at 17, I customized my school's science lab equipment to get more accurate results. When I graduated from college with a degree in engineering, I was excited to join Metro. The company produced high-tech equipment for various industries, from automotive to telecommunications. My starting salary was decent for a fresh graduate, and I was full of hope for career growth. During my second year at Metro, I noticed some inconsistencies in our testing equipment. Others dismissed these small variations as normal, but I knew in precision manufacturing, these margins could make a huge difference. I spent my weekends using my own money to buy equipment and experiment with alternative calibration methods. One night at 2 a.m., I came up with a hybrid approach that combined digital measurements and mechanical fine-tuning in a way no one had tried before. When I showed my method to the engineering team, the results were immediate. Our precision increased by 35%, and calibration time was cut from 5 hours to 5 hours. Our products started outperforming competitors, orders soared, and customer complaints disappeared. But instead of getting recognition, my innovation was presented as the company's new proprietary method at a quarterly meeting, with no mention of my name. My colleague Grace told me, "This is how it works here. Don't expect individual recognition. Just be patient." I was patient. I trained new employees on my calibration method, documented every process, and even took midnight calls from clients to troubleshoot problems. In my 5th year, Metro decided to expand into the Asian market. The regulatory requirements there were very different from those in our home country. The first shipment of our machines failed inspections miserably, and the expansion team was in a panic. The CEO, Max, said in an emergency meeting, "Tamara, we need solutions, not excuses. Fix this, or we'll find someone who can." I canceled all my plans for the next 6 weekends. My relationship with Leo ended when I missed his cousin's wedding. I redesigned key components, revised testing protocols, and created new calibration standards for the Asian market. After 7 weeks, our equipment passed the inspections with flying colors. But while the company celebrated the successful expansion with a big party, I was on a video call with Asian technicians, guiding them through the implementation. Year after year, my performance reviews praised my dedication and technical skills, but my salary remained the same. When I brought up the issue of a raise, I was told the company was restructuring or that they were emphasizing team achievements over individual contributions. I watched new employees, mostly men with less experience than me, negotiate starting salaries higher than what I was making after 6 years. When I asked human resources about it, they said, "Your performance is valued, but we can't disrupt internal equity by adjusting established employees." So I stopped asking and started looking for other opportunities. My reputation in the industry had spread, despite the company trying to take credit for my innovations. I declined 3 job offers out of loyalty to Metro. Then, I received an unexpected email from Ava, the director of the Global Certification Institute. She wrote, "Your calibration method has revolutionized equipment precision standards. We're creating a new position, Chief Innovation Officer, to modernize certification protocols across the industry. Based on your contributions, we'd like to discuss your interest." The Global Certification Institute sets the standards that every manufacturer in our sector must meet. Their certification is crucial for market access. Their offer included a salary that made my current one look like a joke, plus the authority to shape industry practices. I met with Ava for dinner, just to gather information. 3 hours later, surrounded by empty plates and pages of notes about potential improvements to certification standards, I knew I had found my path forward. I decided to give Metro one last chance. I prepared detailed documentation of my contributions, market salary data, and a modest request for a raise. I scheduled my annual review early, hoping for a rational decision. But in the review meeting, Max laughed and said, "A raise? You should be grateful we even keep you." The whole leadership team nodded in agreement. As I walked back to my desk, a strange calm came over me. 7 years of self-doubt vanished in an instant. I realized they didn't value me at all. I sent an email accepting Ava's offer and drafted my resignation letter that evening. The next morning, I placed the envelope on the conference table during the leadership team's meeting and said, "Thank you for your time." For 3 days, the envelope remained unopened. I continued working, documenting processes, and training colleagues. Then, on the 3rd day, my phone started ringing non-stop. There were 6 missed calls from Human Resources, 4 from Max, and 2 from the CFO, Sarah. I ignored them and finished my work. When I returned to my desk, a HR staff, Lily, was waiting for me. "Max opened your letter. He's worried. Can we talk privately?"
she said.
In a small conference room, Max and Sarah were already there. Max pushed my resignation letter across the table and asked, "What is this?" I replied, "My 2 weeks' notice. I've accepted another position." They tried to convince me to stay, offering a 50% raise, a director title, and a seat on the innovation committee. But I was firm. I had made up my mind. The next 2 weeks were surreal. Colleagues who had ignored me for years suddenly wanted to have lunch with me. Executives who didn't know my name stopped by my desk with technical questions. I documented everything meticulously, transferring my 7-year-long knowledge into organized files. On my last day at Metro, as I was signing the final paperwork, Max appeared. "This is a mistake, Tamara. You're throwing away 7 years of your career here," he said. I handed over my badge and replied, "Those 7 years gave me valuable experience. I'm grateful, but I'm moving on." When he asked where I was going, I told him the Global Certification Institute as the Chief Innovation Officer. His face turned pale. During the 3-week break between jobs, I visited my parents, hiked in the mountains, and slept without an alarm. I ignored calls from Metro and deleted their voicemails. On my first day at the Global Certification Institute, Ava showed me to my office, a real office with a door and windows, unlike the shared workstation I had at Metro. She said the certification standards hadn't been updated in nearly a decade, and my first project was to modernize them, especially in precision measurement protocols. I spent the first month learning about the organization, reviewing current standards, and identifying outdated requirements. By the 6th week, I drafted preliminary revisions that would raise industry standards to match current technological capabilities. When the updated standards were published, Grace from Metro called me. "Have you seen what the Institute just released? These requirements are impossible,"
she said.
I replied, "They're not impossible. I implemented similar standards at Metro 3 years ago, but they were never adopted because of cost concerns." 2 weeks later, Metro requested an expedited pre-assessment review. The inspector's report showed that their equipment failed to meet the new standards, their calibration procedures were outdated, and their quality control documentation was inadequate. I forwarded the report to the certification committee with standard recommendations. Max called me and accused me of using my position to punish Metro. I recorded the call as per the Institute's policy and asked him to rephrase his statement. He hung up. Metro's formal certification review came due while I was at an international standards conference. The committee evaluated their application without my input. Their result was provisional certification, which was a big blow to the company. At the industry summit 6 months later, I presented the attribution framework. During the networking reception, Ben from Metro approached me. He said they had hired 3 specialists to implement the new standards, but were still struggling. He also mentioned that Victor wanted to meet me for consulting opportunities. I refused, stating that it would be a conflict of interest. Diane from Metro then tried to offer me a job, saying they were restructuring and needed someone like me. I told her that if Metro couldn't meet the industry standards, there might be more fundamental business problems. Victor later stopped me and asked for 2 minutes. He admitted they had made a mistake and asked me to consider consulting for them. I replied, "I'm quite grateful for my current position," echoing his words from our last performance review. Back at the Institute, we started the second phase of standards modernization, the Transparent Attribution Protocols. This framework would require companies to properly credit technical innovations to their original developers. Grace came to my office one evening. She said she had applied for a job at the Institute and was offered a position. She also told me that Metro was accusing me of conflict of interest in the standards development process and had been going through my old files, claiming I had sabotaged documentation. I wasn't worried because I knew I had done nothing wrong. Every step in the standards development was documented, peer-reviewed, and approved through proper channels. 6 weeks after filing the complaint, Metro requested an urgent meeting with the Institute's board. I recused myself due to the ongoing ethics investigation. I watched the meeting via closed circuit from my office. Max led Metro's presentation, accusing me of a conflict of interest. But the ethics committee's investigation showed that I had maintained exceptional documentation standards. Their allegations collapsed under scrutiny. 2 days after the failed complaint hearing, Metro's board announced an internal investigation into potential misrepresentation by senior leadership. Within a week, Max and 2 other executives were placed on administrative leave. The Industry Oversight Board also initiated an investigation into potential securities violations. 3 weeks later, Sarah came to my office. She said Metro's stock had dropped 60% and they had lost the Eastbrook contract. The board wanted to negotiate with me, offering public acknowledgement of my contributions, back pay for the raises I should have received, and naming rights for the calibration method. I thought about it and told her that the attribution framework offered a way forward. Metro could be one of the first to adopt it, but it would mean admitting that leadership had taken credit for work they didn't do. She nodded and said she would take it to the board. The following month, Metro became the 4th company to adopt the attribution framework. They publicly acknowledged the contributions of 26 engineers, with my name at the top of the list for 17 distinct innovations over 7 years. Max and 3 other executives resigned. The new CEO introduced a transparent compensation structure tied to innovation contributions. Grace withdrew her job application at the Institute and returned to Metro to lead their attribution compliance team. 6 months later, Metro received full certification under the new standards. Their stock price stabilized, and new clients were attracted by their ethical transformation. Looking back, I realized that the true revenge wasn't leaving Metro or exposing their practices. It was creating a world where innovation is properly attributed and excellence is properly valued. If this story resonates with you, hit the like button and subscribe. Share your experiences of having your contributions overlooked in the comments below. Remember, recognition may be delayed, but excellence always leaves its mark.